right back at it. Let's add some height. It's time. We got the money. We not broke no more. We still gonna use these planning roads though, cause I'm no fool. But yeah, we definitely gonna lay down a simple grid. But you see, we did add a little bit of organic bendiness to it. You know, it doesn't have to be so rigid. Right here in this space, I'm gonna add a bus station, like a bus transfer, super custom. Like when y'all see what I do to this, yo, it's lit. And right next to it, I'm gonna add a little canal walk. Anybody that's coming from the Viridian series, y'all have seen me do this. I wanted to see exactly how small I could make one without it flooding out the whole city. It's an ongoing thing. I'm still working on it, even in some later episodes, the exact level. But it looks good for now. It's holding up for now, and it's definitely not flooding out the city. So we're gonna wrap a pedestrian walkway. All right, this is just like a regular old vanilla path. The reason why I use the vanilla path is because there's a lot of better paths, but at really tight bends and angles, it always looks weird. So I just go with a regular old vanilla, straight out the vanilla wafer. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take all of my bus routes that exist right now, and I'm gonna continue to like consolidate these bus lines because I got one coming all the way from Starlet, and I don't know if that's the move. But we can go ahead and get this bus activity going on, just so when we lay down our buildings, the AI catches up quicker with, oh, we got public transport, we can go here. You know what I'm saying? We'll still have a little bit of move-in problems, but not a lot. Also, right down here past the industrial area that we laid down last week, remember I told you I was gonna lay down a bridge. I might have told y'all that, but I was gonna lay down another bridge just so some goods can go right into downtown. We won't have a lot of congestion. I'm gonna go ahead and start laying down some of the modern condos, and this is definitely by design. I don't want the area to just completely feel old school. I want it to feel like some sense of progress going on. There is some money being made. There's some developers coming in. Y'all see they got the Starbucks jumping off. So when the Starbucks come, you know, the money man is right around the corner. So we're gonna lay out, these are our first little houses in our downtown area, right across the street from our little duck pond walkway. We'll definitely go put some ducks in there later on. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna lay down some props in front of our modern condos. And speaking of modern, I'm gonna bring our playlist ahead in the timeline a little bit. Now we on some Morris Day, some confunction type late early 80s funk vibes. You know what I'm saying? That electro funk type vibe. I'm checking my skyline. I'm trying to peep it out from a distance, make sure stuff. See, I like this building, but it's way too tall. Let's get that out of here. Let's start over. We're going to start with the Piper Lofts, and I'm going to throw down this Chicago joint, but I'm going to Rico that into a residential building. Sanford Hotel, but we're going to move that. A diner on the corner by the bus station is so necessary. I'm going to lay down a few more of these assets. I'm trying to keep everything from looking so robotic. We are on a grid, but we can still have fun with it. And right here on this corner, I'm gonna put down a historical house. Last series, I did a haunted house. This series, we're gonna do like a dope preservation type house. Check me out. All right, it's definitely coming together. The next piece of what we need to do is we need to get our bus station functioning. Y'all know how I like to do. I definitely wouldn't have people just walking all in front of where these buses is coming in and out. So we're going to do something dope. We're going to make a sunken pathway right here, and we're going to run the pathways to the bus stops underneath the bus road. And I'm going to seal everything up with some retaining walls and some pavement surfaces and all that. So we're gonna make it look real good. It's gonna look like a bus station. So we're gonna start with this. This is a path off of the asset workshop, and the reason why I use this is because when I go to raise and lower it, it really makes the terrain do what I want it to do, for a lack of better explanation. Like, you'll see I'm gonna grab all of the nodes with move it, and I sink everything down, and the land moves exactly how I need it to move, so I can make little sunken ridiculousness like this. I'm gonna switch the path over to the one with the little guardrails just so I can follow along a little bit better. I may change that out a little bit later on. We're gonna check the heights on this though, because I don't want nobody to smack their head and be trying to sue me. I don't got it. Y'all see, we just now getting our money up. So yeah, I think that's enough clearance right there. I'm gonna take all of the crossings off of all of the streets. Now, like I said, I don't want, if you're going from one bus stop to the other, you need to go through the underground passageway, my guy. That's what it's there for. Don't be crossing my streets. I'm gonna use a little node controller on this path to square everything up, make it nice and square like a shape up on a black dude. You know what I'm talking about? We don't need no weird lines. We got to get that line up right. I'm gonna bust out some of these Cluse retaining walls. He's got like the best retaining walls and fences and stuff on the workshop. These, as you can see, have like a really tattered, worn kind of texture to them, and that's what I like. This is the better part of this part of town, but it's still kind of raggedy. By the way, this district is called First District. I know, not the most inventive, but I just thought it sounded kind of fly. I'm gonna keep lining this up, and I have to do a lot of pieces of this, and once I get all of this done, I gotta seal it all up with the surfaces. It's gonna take a sec. It's probably better if I play some dope music. I'm gonna play some of that 80s, and then I'm gonna speed it up. Man, y'all hang out with me though. This is the gate. Before we do anything else, I feel like this was a good time to just kind of reveal some of the history of Rivergate. Unlike last time, I'm not gonna ramble on mindlessly and y'all for like 10 minutes. There's a better way.
The year was 1854, and the Devereux estate was in turmoil. The patriarch, Jacob Devereux, lay ill, his days drawing to a close. Standing by his bedside were his only two surviving children, Gwendolyn and John Francis. The family had amassed great wealth through their ventures in textiles and agriculture, but with Jacob's impending death, their future hung in the balance. In his last will and testament, Jacob bequeathed his fortune to be divided equally between his two living heirs. Gwendolyn, a timid woman with fair hair, had yet to find a suitable husband. John Francis, on the other hand, was the product of an ill-fated union between Jacob and a runaway Creole slave girl who had tragically been recaptured and killed several years prior. After Jacob's passing, the burden of managing the family business fell upon Gwendolyn, who proved herself to be a remarkably astute and strategic businesswoman. She married a respected local preacher and divided her time between her philanthropic endeavors and the thriving enterprise. However, tragedy struck all too soon when Gwendolyn met an untimely demise in 1859, leaving a void in the family. Her 2 children were sent to a prestigious boarding school in Belgium, far away from the tumultuous region. As the Civil War erupted, John Francis, lacking in athletic prowess or a penchant for heroism, chose to abandon his ancestral home and seek refuge in Canada for the duration of the war, away from the chaos and danger that gripped the nation. Join me on the next installment of Hidden Legacy, the Saga of Rivergate.
Love me or hate me, can't nobody look at nothing I'm doing and say, "Ah, man, he just doing it like such and such, man. He just doing it like bruh and them." Nah, fam, ain't no traffic in this lane over here. Now, the reason why I wanted to go ahead and start revealing some of our history is because this little part will be our first historical site of the city. I'm gonna detail it up with some of these purple trees. I'm gonna throw some reeds down here, and I'm gonna use one of those bayou trees as the centerpiece. At the time this historical site was made historical, John Francis's mom's name was lost to history, but we know now her name was Camille. She was a lifetime runaway because she knew how to read and write. She never could just get jiggy with the whole let's be a bed slave idea. It just wasn't in her. She was light-skinned like Denise Huxtable, and she had dreads like Denise Huxtable. So we're going to make her site look real nice. We're going to keep coming back to this. I'm going to find stuff on the workshop, I'm sure, later on that I want to add to this area. The last thing I wanted to do to the bus station, though, is I wanted to add this vanilla plaza asset. We're going to use PO on it so I can kind of drop it down. It's like way too tall. And we need to bend those pillars as well. Also, I'm going to use one of the eco commercial assets as PO because I want to drag some of this signage off. I really don't want all of this extra stuff on it. And we're just going to kind of detail this up to kind of look like an office maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like a... not really where you can buy tickets. You can't really, everybody can't come in here and sit down, but you know, you need somewhere for a security guard to be, man. It'd be all types of crazy characters at the bus station, man. You need, you know, you might have somebody that's pregnant or something like that. They can't just be sitting out in the sun. Boom, they got a little area right there. We think about our citizens in Rivergate, man. That's why we got to put these barriers down so somebody kid don't go falling down into the tunnel. Right here, I'm gonna add some modern condos just to kind of, you know, so it's not such a naked spot right there. I'm gonna use PO on one of them to kind of make it the shape I want. Consider that like the leasing office. And we're gonna throw a little Jasmine art up, a couple decals, maybe a planner. Nothing too crazy, man. And the house that I threw on the corner, the historical house. Like I said, anybody that's coming from Viridian County remembers this was Mr. Blackstone house, and we like trashed it up and made it look like somewhere where you definitely would hang out with your 12-year-old friends and smoke cigarettes. This one, we're gonna make it look nice, like that house the designing women probably work at, man. You know, it's probably like a lawyer or somebody that they got like 2 or 3 offices, or a dentist or somebody like that, but it's still a historical site. They probably kept all of the hardwood inside. It probably smell crazy, but it's historical, man. Y'all know how they do. We're gonna throw some of these junies in the front, a couple of them live oaks on the back, and that pretty much does it. While I was doing my detailing, I saw one of those buildings had a defund BPD sign on it. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you now, we don't co-sign none of that. Like, I own things.
You know, if somebody comes and breaks my house, I'm not calling the Crips.
Now, I'm also not gonna commit no crime with you and tell it on you. But, you know, we don't believe in defunding no police. Y'all stick around for the cinematics.